Becky Rose, Director of Volunteer Services, welcome. We're so glad you're here today and give us an update. What's going on with our volunteers at the hospital?
Well, thank you, Donna. I'm excited to be here. Well, first of all, this week is National Volunteer Week, so we want to thank all the volunteers out there who have decided to take their purpose and passion and give it to the hospital or any place.
Or any place, absolutely. This is a community that's really the base in so many cases, our volunteers, and what would we do without them at the hospital?
Absolutely. When you volunteer, that's just speaking towards what kind of community you want to live in. And we're blessed to live in this community and have so many wonderful volunteers and so many organizations that utilize volunteers, and they do great work, and they can't get that great work done without their volunteers, and especially here at the hospital.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before we go into some of the highlights from 2015 for the highlights for the volunteers, what capacity, what kind of things do volunteers do at the hospital?
We have a variety of volunteer positions at the hospital, and we have a lot of volunteers, but we have a lot of work that needs to be done. So it takes a lot of volunteers to do that work. We'll talk about the 4 education community houses. Wonderful work gets done over there, and we utilize the volunteers to do that work. And any of the 4 community education houses need volunteers. So see where you can plug in. We're looking for people who can give us 4 hours a week or 4 hours a month or whatever plugs into your schedule.
See, and we've all got 4 hours a month in us. You know.
Absolutely.
Maybe not a week, but we certainly do a month, and that can be utilized. And it's such a great cause.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's rewarding as well. You know, at those 4 community houses, they have support groups, they have clerical work that needs to be done, there's phones that have to be answered, just a lot of great stuff going on over at those houses. So, and I would encourage people, if you've never been to the 4 education community houses, they're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. Go over and visit, see what they have to offer.
Just stop in anytime. They will make you welcome. They'll love to see you and explain what they do with the individual houses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then at the hospital itself, we're looking for volunteers to help us in physical therapy. Our volunteers in physical therapy will go into the room after a patient has left and tidy it up, you know, get the washcloths and towels and stock the shelves in all those rooms, put things away. And they're just walking alongside the staff members in there. So
it's a great way to put it, walking alongside the staff, just being an extra, just a great helper, more assistance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another very vital place, and a place where I'm really needing volunteers, is our information desk. And it's kind of the Chamber of Commerce for the hospital.
Yeah, it is.
So there's a variety of work that gets done at those desks. We greet our patients and visitors. We escort people to rooms or destinations wherever they are trying to get to. We help with wheelchair assistance, with admitting patients and discharging patients. We deliver newspapers and cards and flowers, and just another smiling face when you walk through that door, because it's not the best day when you're walking through the door at the hospital. You're stressed and you're looking through a lot of information, and there's either something going on in your life or your family's life or a loved one's life, and you're there at the hospital trying to find out answers. And when you walk in there, it's very confusing when you're already stressed.
Right.
And so our volunteers are there to greet you and help you navigate the hospital.
And they're always easily identified in their yellows, smocks, I call them, or yellow shirts. And it's just wonderful, because that's all you need to do is find somebody in a yellow shirt, the Yellow Shirt Army, as we call it, or Clark Fletcher always calls it.
Yes.
He was the one that coined that phrase, and they are there to meet and greet, as you mentioned, and get people where they need to go, and just make the whole experience as pleasant as possible.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a tough time, like you say.
It is.
So.
It's a stressful time in someone's life when you're at the hospital.
Yep.
You're not usually there because you want to be there.
Yeah, I was going to say, seldom do people wandering off the street going, oh, I think I'll go to the hospital today. So,
other than staff and volunteers, you're not there because you want to be there.
Right. The only ones that are coming to an auxiliary sale, which are
Exactly.
always open to the public down in the Lager Board usually, or they're coming to the Piccadilly because that's the best boutique in town. So
Again, we utilize volunteers
Yep.
for those special events like the fundraisers. We're getting ready to have a used handbag sale. We're excited about that. That's coming up
Wow.
in May. So look for that. We've got little bookmarks around, but call the Volunteer Services office if you want to know when we're going to have that. I think we're having it, May. It's a one-day sale, May 16th. So what we've done is
Ooh.
collected your unused handbags, and we'll price them and have a wonderful sale, and that's been a good fundraiser for us in the past.
That's fun.
Yeah, it is, and it's in the Lagerborg dining room. And all of our sales, their special sales that we have, are in the Lagerborg dining room of the hospital cafeteria, so you can come and get your lunch and then shop with us as well.
Great.
And then
Great.
our gift shop, like you said, it's a wonderful boutique. Debbie Swan's our gift shop manager, and she does a great job of keeping things fresh and new in there. And it is a fundraiser for the auxiliary, so our funds go back to support those special services and equipment needs at our hospital.
I think that's what people lose sight of sometimes. It's like, where does the money go that's raised? Well, what could they possibly need? A hospital always needs. Technology is changing. Just think of phones. You know, the phones in a year and how much better they're always getting. Well, the technology for the hospital equipment is also doing the same thing. So it's important that we've always got the funds there that are raised by the auxiliary to be able to utilize those to get the newer equipment, to get what it is that we need, because all of that translates into taking better care of the community. So
Exactly, and our community deserves that.
absolutely.
You know, when the hospital goes to buy a piece of new technology, it's always 6 figures or more usually. And the volunteers and the auxiliary are there to partner with the foundation to help bring those great things that our community deserves, to provide that great health care that we have here at BRMC.
Right. I think people sometimes forget that the hospital is a not-for-profit hospital. It's a 501c3. Any monies raised go right back into the hospital. So, you know, it's wonderful the way the volunteers step up to the plate and do all these things for us.
We're blessed to have, again, a wonderful community that steps in, and they see that work that needs to be done, and they don't wait for someone else to do it. They step in and do it.
Step in and do it.
And that's the great thing about our volunteers in this community. And we're talking about fundraising. You know, last year the auxiliary gave back to the hospital over $312,000
Wow.
for special services and equipment needs, and that's all raised through the fundraisers that we have through the Bargain Box thrift shops, and we'll talk a little bit more about those
Okay.
too. They are, you know, that's our thrift shop. We have one here in Mountain Home, open 6 days a week, and then we have one in Flippin on Industrial Park Road there in Flippin, and it's open 5 days a week, doing great work, you know, supporting those communities. They have a lot of fun, but they work hard.
Yes, they do.
Over there.
I've been in the back side of the building, and oh my goodness, once again, the generosity of the community, donating slightly used items, but they've all got to be cleaned and priced and, you know, sorted, and oh my goodness, it's a huge job.
Exactly. And, you know, people come into our thrift shops, and they, you know, our volunteers have developed relationships with those folks. They're regulars that come in there. You know, some of them are stylists for some of the folks that come in there. So they want to make sure that we're taking really good care of our community. And even the churches, if they have someone who's in need or someone's had a fire, you know, our thrift shops are there to support those folks as well. So the churches know about us, and the hospital knows about us. And you know, all those things, those donations that come in really are making a difference for our community.
They certainly are. And they're helping people in their time of need. So
Exactly.
it's a win-win all the way around.
So that's another great place for volunteers to come, especially if you're not comfortable around illness. The thrift shops, you're not in the hospital or in the hospital setting, and you are, again, supporting the hospital's needs and the community's needs. So that's another great place, and another place we have a need for volunteers. You know, even though we have a large organization, it takes a lot of folks to do the work.
We're always growing. The hospital there's nothing stagnant about it. We keep adding more and more and more clinics that come under our umbrella, so absolutely, we need lots of volunteers.
And we have volunteers that do a lot of behind-the-scenes work. They're in clinics. Some of our clinics, you have to be an autonomous kind of volunteer. You're
Yeah.
happy to be on your own, but they help with filing and things like that. And then, of course, we need volunteers in our foundation office doing some kind of reception work sometimes, answering
Yes.
the telephone. So again, another place for volunteers. Like I said, there are openings
There's
everywhere.
something for everyone.
Everywhere in the hospital.
Becky, we need to take a short break. We'll come right back and talk about the 2015 auxiliary highlights, okay?
Okay.
All right. Don't go away. We'll be right back.